Izzy likes to sample too, a little more of the milky kind. It's beautiful out here out in Sonoma and Napa. My husband and I have done a lot of wine tastings out here, so we're looking forward to doing some of that at actually Jordan Winery on Monday.
Hey everyone, Tim and Rinny here, and we're doing our post Ironman 70.3 Santa Rosa show, and we're here with the world famous Rob Davis, winemaker here at Jordan Winery. One of the most well-known and one of our favorite wineries out here in Sonoma. So, thanks for having us, Rob.
Oh my God, this is the best way to get over.
Yeah. How are your legs feeling?
Actually, we did a 69.1, I guess, yesterday, but it was just a perfect day, and just being out here in the wine country is great. These two have already seen a little faster than I did. See, I like to go slower in my triathlons, really enjoy.
That's get more for your money, right?
That's my excuse for coming in with much less time, but we are going to take it slow. We're going to go through and see a lot of the aspects of Vineyard, right now we're at a really key point in the harvest, the pre-harvest, where we're about 6 weeks away. As soon as we start seeing the color develop on the fruit, and then you count about 6 to 8 weeks. The weather can vary quite a bit, but it's about 6 to 8 weeks. So this is when we start getting your energy charged. We're really getting ready for the excitement. So we're going to go through the vineyards and see some of that, and then we're going to come back and see some of the production aspects of the cellar, and then of course finish off with more wine.
This is like the Kona build right now. 6 to 8 weeks.
Exactly. So take a look here. This is beautiful. You can see these are just in the last week. These just started turning color. And you can see this one here is still green. This is just starting to turn color here. It takes about, depending on the conditions, what you want is really nice, even weather patterns for veraison, because this is where a lot of your uniformity is set. So what'll happen later on is, as by probably about 7 more days, we'll take a look at this, and we call it veraison thinning or green thinning. So anything that isn't colored by that point, let's say if this is still green, which I don't think it will be because I see the color developing, but let's say it is, we come back, then we'll drop that fruit.
This color change also reminds me of kind of the way Rinny and I approach the season too. Like right now, this is our fitness in March. Right. April, even going into May, and then as we're starting to get our color. Yep. This is July for us, right? Like we're starting to come into our form. Obviously Rinny taking the win home this weekend.
Days.
Yep.
But there's some weaknesses.
There's still some green in there, right?
Yeah.
And then when we get ready for Kona, we're that nice color.
That nice color.
Good point. That's exactly right. Yeah, and you just know it. You're ready. You're ready to go. For me, I remember when I was doing an Ironman, and on my run, I just felt like I was on air.
Yeah.
I was smiling. I was running along. Felt like I was in this heavenly feeling. Like I was no effort behind it at all. And that's what a great Pinot Noir will do. You never forget that.
That's actually what Rinny said, that you felt this past weekend, right? The race?
The weekend I had one of those races where I just couldn't hurt myself. I just felt good and strong, and there's only, a handful of those in your career. And you just keep going back and training to get that feeling again.
I know. It is addicting.
Yeah. And then you wonder why, when you don't have those days, like, okay,
why am I doing this?
What God do I have to,
right?
Something at the altar.
What did I do to deserve this day?
And I know sometimes you feel like, but I did all my training was really great, But,
yeah, exactly. You've done everything the same. And
right. Yeah. Imagine, harvest is like that too, right?
Yeah.
Man. So how many acres is the property?
There's about 1,600 total.
we came up here to do a little wine tasting, and there's always a reminder that Hawaii's not that far away.
The question is old world, new world.
Right.
And then they get the Jordan, they go, old world. They go, no, this is the Jordan. Hey, this is John Jordan.
Oh, awesome.
Hey, nice to meet you, John.
Hey, John, thank you so much for having us.
Yeah.
You guys having a nice time hanging out with Rob?
Yeah,
That was our
beautiful
aid station.
spot.
So Rinny won the
Yeah.
on Saturday.
Yes, the second biggest, or one of the two biggest halves in the world
I mean,
in terms
it was-
of numbers. Yeah.
So 4 in the morning, that's when school buses were leaving Santa Rosa to take the athletes to the starting line,
Yeah.
and it looked little like a caravan. I mean, who's
Yeah.
up on a Saturday at 4:30 in the
Oh,
morning?
yeah.
Not this guy.
It was this
Not
one school
Not unless
bus
we
that
have to
the,
be.
Airport Express is going by.
Yeah.
And Tim got 4th place, which I'd taken a heartbeat.
Yeah.
So you were 3rd for a while, and I guess the guy ended up passing you.
Yeah, no, it was a staggered. They had to do time trial start because there was no swim, so I caught the guy. So I was
okay.
virtually ahead of him, and then he had a little better run than me. So
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Knowing before the race that we may not be able to swim, I think I was better prepared in how I'd warm up. And we were driving in and we sort of saw the fog and like, well, yeah, maybe we're not going to have a swim today. So, yeah, I mean, for a triathlon, for a long distance event, you don't really want to warm up super long anyway. And usually we go for a little jog once we get down and check our bikes working and everything's working well. And we still went for our little jog because obviously we're still going to run
Yeah.
at the end of the day. And then we came back and found out that it wasn't going to be a swim, so I'd already put my swim skin on. I just took it off and actually relaxed a little bit because it was going to be another 30 or 40 minutes. So just get off my legs, relax, sit down, try and conserve energy, and eat a little more food because we're starting a bit later.
Yeah.
That was one thing.
Right. Yeah.
Make sure I had a snack. But yeah, I mean, it didn't really change too much. Obviously, if we were swimming, I would have gotten in and swum warm up, but that was off the table kind of early.
Yeah.
So yeah, it didn't really change our warm up too much at all.
You don't realize though. I think they actually get your body moving in the swim, and you kind of warm up then.
Yeah.
And I noticed at the start of the bike, trying to push
Big ones.
big watts, just in kind of a cool or unwarmed up environment. Like my hamstrings were tightening up right away, and it took a little while to kind of get in that rhythm. I had a nice little treat when I came into transition race morning. I had a flat tire, so luckily Tim Winslow, an up and coming young pro, he had a spare front wheel for me to borrow. But we pumped it up after the race, and it's holding air, so I smell foul play.
Yeah. So
Someone's playing tricks on me.
which is like a little bit disheartening to know someone let your tire down before the race, but yeah, you were able to get in the
Yeah,
wheel. So
didn't change my race at all. Sometimes little stuff like that just keeps you on your toes.
Ours, but the day before, again, because I commute with a lot of the course, and the organizers had their who's blowing the streets out here? Nobody ever does this. Certainly not the county.
yeah, yeah.
Right.
But the organizers had hired people out there to make sure that
Things
really
were-
there was, especially coming around a lot of the turns, the gravel was clean as could be.
Yeah, that's great.
And because I know the course really well because I'm all on it every single day, twice a day.
You like?
Yeah. That's because I like
Like the like the short.
more old world than you do.
You like the old, dirty world. Tastes like a boot.
I said if I finish, I'm happy.
Yeah.
And I think that's harvester like that too. There's certain years where going into the spring you're in trouble. You've had
Right.
and I say the spring is probably the most important, more important than the harvest for the successful one because your balance is formed there. So I think in certain races, like, okay, I may not have, hit my PR or whatever,
Right.
but considering what I was up against, I'm really happy with what I did.
Yeah.
So-
Right. Well, that's almost Ironman racing, right? Like you're given, things you can't change, and things happen that you just have to manage. You have to deal with. You have to problem solve, right? And it's almost that's kind of the beauty of racing is, working through everything that you're giving, whether it's dealing
Yep.
with the rain of a vintage or whatnot.
Yep.
It's okay, or
You got a cramp in the swim.
right, yeah, or
Working-
I
gotta
lost my
work it through.
nutrition on the bike. Okay, well now what do I do?
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing. Sometimes you just automatically think it's calories, and it's not your electrolyte balance.
Right.
Yeah.
And that can really snap you back.
Yeah.
A balanced wine ages well, and I think that's similar to an athlete. Yeah, I mean, I feel like if you're not balancing life and enjoying life, you probably have a shorter career. I don't know. What do you think, Rin?
Absolutely. I think that's how we've always approached our racing. I mean, as I said, we did my first in '99, and you were around the same time.
Yeah.
We're still racing as professionals at the highest level.
Yeah, the 37.
19 years later.
Yeah.
And I think it's because we have a balanced life. We try to enjoy, a glass of wine with dinner and don't take ourselves too seriously.
Right.
And, so we do all the training very seriously, and
Right.
we race very seriously. And
There's a sustainability to training as well, though. If you can push your body and you can push it over the edge for a certain amount of time, but if you want an extended career,
Yeah, you
I
need to
think
take
you have to
downtime.
understand, I can do this, but what you can do in training and what you need to do in training are two very different things, right?
And I think winemaking is similar. There's such an attraction for overdoing it, and it's so easy to overdo.
Right.
It. It's
Yeah.
like, gosh, this oak did a beautiful job to the wine. Let's do more.
yeah.
Right.
And
More isn't better.
Yeah.
I taste really great right now, but the weather's going to be good for the next 2 weeks, so let's hang it for longer. And
Yeah.
all of a sudden you bring it in going, God, it's raisins,
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
blew it.
Yeah.
But there's that tendency, I think, just maybe human nature that
Push it a little further.
recognize what's really good, what's appropriate, and the balance, and then being happy, content with it, rather than trying to
Right.
do too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's so easy. Yeah, you get excited about something and you want to do more, right?
Oh, it's an
Yeah.
addiction.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, this is like, oh my God, this is great. I got to do more
Yeah,
and more.
Yeah,
and more.
I'm training so well. Let me just keep on adding on.
Yeah.
Let me extend this session a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think in any kind of endurance, which a harvest is too, is you can definitely overdo it.
We say the same thing about racing. Usually you learn more from the races
Bad
you don't win,
races.
and the really bad
Yep.
races, than
Yeah.
the races you win, right?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
My worst Konas have been my most valuable learning experiences, and I've always come back the following year and had my best races.
Yeah, I think that it's absolutely true. And
Yeah, no, I felt like as I get a little older, I'm a little more cautious on the roads. And now that I'm a mum,
absolutely.
I'm much more cautious. And so I feel like, of course, the last couple of races I've done have been like literally out on the highway, just ride straight, do a U-turn and come back.
Yeah.
And this race, it was windy. You couldn't
yeah.
really, there were corners where you couldn't really see the exit point, so you didn't know really how fast to enter and exit. And I felt that I was way more cautious. I mean, I feel like I could have shaved some minutes off
Right,
the
yeah.
bike if I was more
interesting.
aggressive.
Yeah. Yeah, every time you lose that speed into a turn and then you're
Yeah,
having
like
to
I'm like,
accelerate
don't touch
out
your
of it.
brakes. I'm gonna touch my brakes. I'm not.
Yeah, don't touch. Okay, I'm gonna touch. I'm gonna touch it.
Yeah, because like every time you touch your brakes, that's like a couple of seconds because you've
Right.
then got to
Yeah.
you're washing
Get it back
off
up,
speed.
yeah,
then.
yeah.
So the great thing about our race, even though it was
Time trial start.
time trial start, so you kind of like having to do the math and figure out how far you actually are behind. I started last, so and I had a great race and I actually ended up finishing first, which meant I definitely won the race.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about
But
this.
the girl who was I knew was probably my biggest competition was only 20 seconds ahead of me, so she started just one ahead of me. So it was fortunate that I drew last and she drew second last, so I could kind of keep an eye on her all day. But she rode a lot faster than me. She rode maybe like a minute 10 faster than me, so I didn't see her at all on the bike. But ended up coming around Heather, I think between 7 and 8 miles on the run, so somewhere in the second lap. And yeah, I actually felt amazing the whole run. Felt like one of those days where you just cruising along,
Yeah,
not
that's-
really
I love
hurting, you
those
just
feelings.
floating along, feel great.
Go ahead. So my big season's coming up for harvest, but you guys aren't done yet. So I'm going into my biggest time of the whole year. How about you guys?
Yeah, exactly. We're going into our
Yep.
biggest
Yeah, Kona.
Kona, baby.
Kona, baby.
We got Poland next weekend. Obviously, we've talked about that. Then we'll get back from Poland, recover from the travel and everything,
Yep.
and then
Yeah, so we'll have 6 or 7 weeks of training after Poland before we do Augusta, 3 weeks out of Kona, and that'll be our prep race. So right now we're looking at trying to go down to sea level, so we actually might go to Lawrence, Kansas.
Oh,
Yeah.
Well, we'd love to see the barrels and everything.
absolutely.
If we
Let's
can take
go. It's a little
tour.
cooler in there too.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
supposed to get 140.
All right, well, we're a wrap here from Jordan Winery. I remember years ago someone told me that wine only grows in beautiful places, and they're absolutely right as we look around here at Jordan. So we've had a great time here in the Santa Rosa 70.3, and we hope
to
you all,
Rob.
yeah,
Showing us
thank you,
around.
Rob, and we hope you all come back for the race and come back and stop in and say hi to Rob here at Jordan.
Pleasure.
Yeah.
Cheers.